guys, Constance here from CosmopolitanCornbread.com. So we are still doing the whole telework thing for Mr. Smith, although he did actually go into work today. There's some things that he needs to do that he can't do from home, and so now and again he heads into Huntsville to do some work there in the office, but otherwise he's been doing a lot of telework sort of stuff, working from home, and gratefully we have the ability for him to do that. For me, I work from home anyways, being a blogger as my profession. So for the most part, it's kind of been life as usual around here, except Mr. Smith has been home quite a bit more than usual, and so because of that, because he doesn't have all his commute time and all of that, I've actually been putting him to work. I jokingly said on Facebook the other day, honey-do list, activate. So there's been all sorts of things actually been getting done around the house, at least, not so much outside, because again, rain. There was massive storms that rolled through here last night. There were tornadoes all over the place. Now we did have a couple of breaks here and there over the past few days where it hasn't rained, and today it's actually not supposed to rain. It's not supposed to rain for the next 3 days. So the opportunities that I've had to actually get out there, I have jumped on. And the other day, a very sweet friend of mine was going on just a little bit of a road trip with her husband. They just needed to get out of the house, see some scenery and fresh air and all of that, and asked if she could swing by and drop something off for me that she had done me a favor and picked up for me several weeks ago, and we haven't seen each other since then. So she came by for a quick little visit, and before she arrived, I had been outside taking advantage of the not rain and was doing some work out in the front garden and was outside, you know, doing all this stuff. Well, when she came to visit, I came in the house so that I could put the dogs out in the backyard so she could come in and see the baby chicks. Well, I am so grateful that I came in when I did, because had she not come over, I would have still been out there working in the garden, and it would have been a disaster. As I came in the door, I saw Duke prancing around excited, and he dropped something on the floor, ran back to get it, all happy-go-lucky like it was his new favorite thing, and it was one of the chicks. Now Mr. Smith thinks that when he changed the water that he didn't put the gate all the way on properly, and that there might have been a gap, because the chicks can fly out. They can fly all over the place, and one of them got out. Now I don't know if that's what happened, but either way we are taking extra precautions when we are not at home now, or if we're outside working. But I came in and I saw that, and I immediately started screaming at the dogs, "Get away, get away, get away!" And I rushed them all out the door, and I ran back in there and I picked up the chick, and she was just flopped over and just eyes closed, and I just knew she was a goner. My heart was broken. I just sat there and I held her. She was still breathing, but she was just laying there. So I wrapped her in some paper towels. My friend came in, looked at the other chicks and everything, and we chatted for a little bit, and I just held the chick in my hands against my body for probably an hour, and during that time she kept breathing. She would open her eyes here and there and look around, and we went outside to walk our friend back out to their vehicle where they had parked, and Mr. Smith took the chick and he started holding her against his body and tucked her inside his coat, because, you know, it was cold outside at the time, and wanted to keep her warm. Well, as we were walking back towards the house, she started pecking his finger, and we brought her in, and set her down inside the brooder, and she got up and started walking around. And today, you would not know that anything had happened. It was, I thought for sure she was dead. I mean, I thought for sure that that was it. She was done in, and we were not going to have 4 chicks. I have to tell you, I thought for certain that Duke had killed her. Now, it wouldn't have been an intentional thing. It would have been, hey, let me play with this thing because look, it moves and it squeaks and all this, but that was a close one. And I am so grateful I came in when I did. So some of the other things that we have been getting done around here is we painted Mr. Smith's bedroom. So Mr. Smith and I have separate bedrooms. We've had that sleeping arrangement for several years because first of all, he snored like crazy and I was constantly having to go out to the sofa because I didn't want to wake him up. And then he got a CPAP machine, and the CPAP machine was even worse than the snoring. So we have separate bedrooms. But when we moved in, when we purchased our property, one of the very first things I did was started painting all of the walls because the entire house was beige and I couldn't handle all of that beige. So the first thing I painted was the kitchen. Next, I painted the room that we use as the office, which I think technically is probably a formal dining room. Then I painted the living room, the hallway, painted the bathrooms, but I never got around to painting any of the bedrooms. So while Mr. Smith was doing some home time, I put him to work and he helped me paint his bedroom. So now it is this beautiful, just icy, almost white, but slightly blue color. And it's very calming, very peaceful, very pretty. And originally it's the paint that I had bought to paint the kitchen. But when I started doing a couple test spots, I realized I didn't really like that color for the kitchen. And so I went with a almost white, but ever so slightly green color, although I don't know if it'll show up in the camera or not. But I kept the paint because I knew we would use it at some point because I did like the color, just not for my kitchen. And so we used it for his bedroom. And now I got to thinking, I like that color so much, we may just use that for all of the bedrooms because it is a very peaceful, flowy, bright, airy color. And yeah, so I think my bedroom's going to be next. And then I'm going to repaint the bathrooms because when I painted them this deep, smoky, stormy blue-gray color. And I liked it at first, but after living with it for a couple of years, it's just too dark. Much too dark. So I plan on repainting the bathrooms a different color at some point. But painting is not the next project. So I've also been working on a crochet project for a friend of mine. I'll actually be finishing that up today so that she can pick it up anytime after today. I absolutely love crocheting. I find it very relaxing. I mostly do it on the Sabbath day, so I can just put in my earbuds, I can listen to devotionals, I can listen to scriptures and podcasts, and I can just spend the day crocheting and relaxing and resting. So I do a lot of that on the Sabbath. But the next big project that is taking place right here in this very room, it will be my kitchen ceiling because we are going to have 3 days of no rain. So I am going to take this opportunity to go and get the supplies that I need, cut the wood, and start working on this ceiling because I was watching the weather this morning. I watched the local news in the morning, and we have had more rain so far this year than you would normally in more than half of the entire year combined. It is just, I mean, I know I talk about this every year with how wet it is, but this is seriously the worst we've had yet. And down the road, when things dry out, we are going to be renting an excavator, and we are going to be doing some work around here to prevent this kind of swamp from happening again. Kind of working out exactly how we'll do this. I have some ideas, which I'll finalize before the time comes. But we are going to be creating some ditches and some trenches for drainage, because this is just plain ridiculous. So I just wanted to catch you up on everything that's been going on around here. It's been quiet, it's been peaceful, but it has been productive. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Thanks for having coffee with me today. Again, my name is Constance from CosmopolitanCornbread.com, and I will talk to y'all next time.